Hi everybody, and this is Brooklisle Sports Talk here. So I didn't think I was going to make a video today, but I am. And I haven't made too many videos, but right now, Major League Baseball, the owners have proposed between 70 and 75 game season that has happened today. And that is right after the players this week proposed an 89 game season. So again, I apologize if I may sound repetitive, since I may sound somewhat repetitive today. But a month ago today, 82 game season was proposed that would start on July 1st. So again, we've talked about this for a long time. If they wanted to start around July 1st, like they've talked about for so long, they would have started training camp by now. We would have been talking about baseball resuming, and the season only would have been 3 weeks away from resuming, and maybe it's 4 weeks away. But it looks like we are starting to make negotiations. We are starting to get closer. And Rob Manfred said this on Wednesday. We are playing baseball 100%. So what this means is the MLB season is going to be played this year, and if they have to do a 50-game season, like maybe they play in August or something, 50, 60-game season play in August, so be it. That's what they might have to do. Or on the other hand, as where we are right now, maybe they can play 70, 75 games, maybe 72 games. If you played 72 games, that means you start maybe in the middle of July. So about a month from now, players need to go to training camp, or spring training as it's called, and they start going. And another thing to really keep the players in mind, for the player side, is having 8 teams in the playoffs per league, and the players want that for both years, since they asked for an 89 game season. But 89 games is unrealistic, since again, if you wanted to play 89 games, you could have agreed to something or thrown that out there long ago, say as soon as the negotiations started. And remember, the players have said things like 114 games. They asked for that about a week ago, where they would have had to play well into October and then the postseason in November. That's not happening anymore. There might have been talks about that earlier. That's not happening. So now the question is, what does the MLB do? How do they get it done? And my guess is, in this latest agreement, is 72 games plus 80 to 85% prorated salary. So the players will get, I guess what they're saying is maybe 85% of what they would have gotten paid. So obviously play half the game, so you make $30 million, 15, or a little less than half. Then maybe make 13, 14, maybe make 10. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work this year. It's going to be very, very different. The players want 100. They're not getting it. The owners probably want something like 50. So again, it's about compromising. These seems like compromises. The league's throwing out 50, 60 games. The players want 90 games. It looks like they're going to get 70, 75 games, somewhere in the middle. And if they want to play, they need to get started pretty much right now. And I think they will reach an agreement sometime this weekend. Since, again, Commissioner of Baseball says they're playing. And, again, the Commissioner can use his authority to play. Maybe that's some sort of shortage. No. And this is not what we want. Because it was kind of yesterday. I was going through games, just what the schedule would have looked like. I mean, it's June 12th now. The season should have started 11 weeks ago. It has not started. And this is just the way it's been this year. It has been a very unnormal season, not what we hope for. And this is just the way it has been. Now again, there are factors to keep in mind. What is the health and safety of the players? Since there's certain players, like I've heard this reference, Carlos Carrasco had cancer last year. He is at a higher risk than other players, or completely healthy. There are certain players who may have family members or may know people very well that have certain health conditions. So how are they going to do this? And again, based on what the schedule is going to look like, if you can play 70 games, doing about 11-week spans to start the season, say right before mid-July, kind of generally when the All-Star break would have been, and you can go ahead and play those games until the end, September 27th or October 1st or whatever, and then maybe you have 8 teams in the playoffs, maybe do best out of 3 first round, and then you just resume from there, okay. 8 teams in the playoffs per league, and then you can finish up late October, maybe early November. You have your World Series champion, so be it. That's 2020, and then you focus on starting over in 2021. Since I've heard talks, we don't know if this is going to happen for sure. But many health experts think there might be a second wave of this virus coming in November, coming in the fall. And if that is the case, baseball wants to be done by then. Really, all the sports are, since again, the NBA is committed to being done by a few days, kind of early October, kind of the first third of October. I assume the National Hockey League's in the same boat, maybe a little bit later. I don't know. But again, it is a very, very different season, very different scenario. Now look, the vast majority of videos I've been making for the past 3 months I've been talking about, since baseball's seriously thought about playing, they threw proposals out as recently as a month ago, and the players have been going back and forth, and I said for a while, you know what, I don't think there will be a baseball season. That was my thoughts, say early June. But now it looks like they are playing. Since again, if there's no baseball, this is a disaster for MLB. Since remember, you've heard this in talks a lot. The CBA expires after 2021. So with that being said, there could be labor issues, say, in the 2021 off season. For sure, going into 2022. So that's another factor to keep in mind. So again, in terms of all these things, baseball, what it's traditionally been like, nobody's going to hit 50 home runs this year. No one's going to win 20 games. No one's going to strike out 300 batters. Historic seasons, you can forget about it for this year. Stats are going to look different. It's going to be a condensed season. More than ever before. A Cy Young Award winner in a season might win less than 10 games. Might win between 5 and 10 games, if that. Might pitch only. Who knows how many innings. Since innings are usually more than games. So again, someone would get 70 games, maybe 15 starts in, I guess 100 innings, something like that. I don't know. Look, it's just a very, very different season. Everything is very different this year. We get it, and that's just the way it is. So again, can the players agree to this? I think hopefully they can agree to this one. And again, they'll probably throw out another proposal. But if we can agree on about 75 games, also about 11-week season, maybe takes a total of 12 weeks. Maybe there's a few off days mixed in. This is a typical 162-game season. Each team gets about 20 off days. Maybe teams now get 10 or 8, something like that. And they play, and keep in mind it's regional. So as I've said many times, teams like in the NL East, the Nationals, end up playing the Yankees, the Red Sox, teams in their league, the Rays. Typical Mets and Phillies, obviously Braves. Cubs, for an example, end up playing the White Sox a lot more. The Twins. Teams in the AL Central and the West. West plays the West. So regional matchups, that's what happens. So that's how interleague play is going to work this year. And then the playoffs, maybe you go back to each league. So again, let's say, for an example, in this playoffs, there's 8 teams in the playoffs per league. So just quickly want to run rapid fire teams that could get in. Obviously, the Braves, Nationals, Phillies, and Mets could all get in. And then the Central, so that's 4 right there. That's half of them. And then, obviously, Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Cardinals, that's another 4. That's 12. And then the West, NL West, you have the Dodgers, Padres, D-backs, no particular order, and I guess the Rockies. So again, you have 5 teams otherwise normally made it to the playoffs, plus 3 more. And then, obviously, in the AL East, I would think it would be Yankees, Rays, Red Sox. In the Central, there's just too much rebuilding going on. Maybe or teams like the Tigers or Royals just happen to play good 500 baseball for a half a season. I don't know. But it would be the Indians, Twins and White Sox that could get in. So that's 6 teams right there. And then the West, maybe send teams like the Astros and the Angels. I don't know. Maybe Rangers. Who knows? So who knows what the playoffs looks like? Those are just possibilities. So again, if you have 8 teams per league this year, so 16 total teams in the playoffs, that's more than half of the league. Baseball normally sends 5 teams to the playoffs. So you'd have a first round, then typical playoffs. So that's really baseball. So again, can the owners agree or not? I don't know. I think the main thing it comes down to is money. The players want to make full salaries. The owners don't. That's the biggest thing. The players want more games. The league, which is the owners, want less games. So again, I've seen ranges anywhere from the players saying we want to play 114 games. We want to play baseball for 4 months. The owners saying no, you're going to play for 2 months. They're the league. So it looks like we're going to go somewhere between 2.5 and 3 months. But if we want to get things going, negotiations need to be made pretty much this weekend. And I hope they can get things done this weekend. And if they can, maybe send players to training or spring training, say by Father's Day weekend, or even a little bit before, and then they're all ready to go, say by early to mid-July, and they play through mid-October. They finish up 18 playoffs. So how that would work? Maybe you have a course of 3 days. Maybe it's 4 days. You play best out of, or make it 3 days straight. Play best out of 3, but the team with the higher seed gets home field advantage, and then bracket like how the NBA does. Then you advance into the divisional round where everything's normal, best out of 5. And sure, this would require more travel for sure. That would be the cases right there. And then you play the LCS, which takes about 8 days, in the World Series takes about a little over a week. So again, if you can finish everything by the end of October, that would be great. So that's the question, what the league's going to do. And I don't know. But the commissioner says they're going to play, so that's really putting pressure on both sides to come up with an agreement. I think they will. And I'm going to look for things to hear tonight, this weekend, early next week. That'll be interesting to hear. Okay, so I'm done talking about baseball. So if you're all in for a baseball audience, then that's it. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.